In Focus, of course, a weekly program that aims at focusing on various topical issues from around the world, and of course aiming at making sense out of some of the conversation that we always have right here on this program. My name, as always, is Eugene Anangwe. Tonight on the program, we are talking about one of the trending topics that have been trending throughout the day, and of course probably 2 days since it started being tweeted about, and it is hashtag Human Rights Watch lies. It's actually trending at #1 as we speak. Just to sample some of the tweets that have been coming through, several people have been tweeting. Phil Quinn says, if Human Rights Watch doesn't retract report claiming these people are dead, it's all you need to know about the value they place on Rwandan lives. The tweets are still coming in thick and fast, but of course tonight the hashtag you're using is InFocusRW to share with us your thoughts concerning these emerging issues concerning the Human Rights Watch report, which was debunked by Rwanda's National Commission on Human Rights. Let's take a look at the guests that we have right here tonight on the program. We have Nirere, who's the chairperson of the Rwanda Commission on Human Rights. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you too.
Also with us on the program is Thierry Gatete, a human rights lawyer and also a blogger. Thank you for joining us on the program.
Thank you, Ajay.
Also with us via phone, he could not be able to join us physically here in studio, is none other than Professor and Dr. Christopher Kayumba. Thank you for joining us, Christopher.
Thank you.
Right, and of course this conversation has to start from what I just said about the trending nature of this conversation that is going on. If you go online on social media, especially Twitter, people are talking about this report, and what brings me, or what comes to mind, is, does this report by Human Rights Watch, what they have said, warrant this attention? Because if you look at what the Minister for Justice said in one of his tweets, was that Human Rights Watch actually comes up with these reports, which is just a continuation of their entrenched vindictive agenda against Rwanda, with an aim of seeking attention. So are we giving them what they want? Let me start with Thierry Gatete.
Right, so we're not doing this because we want to give them attention. Mm-hmm. What we want to give attention is not them as an institution, is the product that they came up with. Mm-hmm. What we're trying to show, mm-hmm, in fact, is to, because people saw their report when it came out, and the Commission and Madam President of the Commission will speak about that later, mm-hmm, then went and verified this. And what we're saying is, listen, for those who believed what Human Rights said before, this is the actual truth because we went and verified this. So the attention is collateral damage, I suppose, but the main aim of sharing this information on Twitter is to bring the truth to the allegations that they made before. So the attention that we need is the attention to the truth, mm-hmm, not necessarily to the organization.
To the organization. Madam Nirere, you went down as a commission and went, you know, blow by blow on each item that Human Rights Watch came out with as far as the allegations of the deaths, of the torture, and you even found some people who are mentioned to have died or to have been killed being alive, and you even brought them onto a press conference actually to prove this. Yeah. And still remaining with that question of attention, don't you think we are giving Human Rights Watch attention that the Honorable Minister of Justice said that this is what they seek? Should we be ignoring them and saying, you know what, you say your things, we know the truth, and we'll continue with our lives?
Yeah, thank you very much. We don't give much attention to Human Rights Watch, mm-hmm, but what we need to find out, mm-hmm, is the truth behind what the Human Rights Watch published as a report. Mm-hmm. In fact, as a Human Rights Commission, we have a mandate to investigate on serious violation of human rights. Mm-hmm. When we get the report of Human Rights Watch, mm-hmm, they reported serious violation of human rights.
Yes. And
we took time to investigate, yes, on them. Yes. And we found in the reports major errors in methodology and in the findings. Mm-hmm. Because in their report, they reported that people who are killed or executed, and we found them alive. Mm-hmm. We found like 7 of them were alive. 4 died from natural causes, diseases. We found also 10 of them unknown in the area they mentioned. It was in Rubavu and Rutsiro.
And yet the people around there don't even know of such people.
Yeah, even the local leaders, residents from area, they don't know those names. And there are other 2 people who were killed by individuals by their own capacities. And those people, those people responsible were sentenced. Yeah. We found the methodology used to get the information is also problematic.
It's problematic.
It's problematic because we found someone tell us that has been paid to testify. That's a problem because in human rights investigation we have to obey on rigorous standards and principles of investigation. It must be evidence-based, it must be independent, it must be neutral, it must be accurate.
You cannot buy someone to be able to testify.
Yes, sure.
That is wrong.
Yeah.
All right, let's bring in Kayumba. Dr. Kayumba, even where you are right now, the reason why you're not able to join us here in studio is because you're out doing research. And you have done extensive research on various topical issues as a researcher yourself. And some of the publications that you have come out with sometimes have received a backlash, from the people who, receive these reports. But when reports that you come out with, for example, the way Human Rights Watch is doing, are always bashed, always, the credibility challenged. I want to hear from you from the perspective of a researcher. What could be going in the mind or going through the mind of those researchers who are behind this report right now?
I think, thank you for that question. 3 points to be made there. The first point is whenever research is conducted, not everybody will agree with it. That is normal. Number 2, the most important thing is any piece of research, it is not about the finding only, but the methodology, how you come to the conclusion. So when a researcher knows that the methodology that has been used is scientifically verified, that anybody who wants to retrace the process through which they went to get to the conclusion can do it. And then any researcher, any scientist makes themselves free to be investigated because the methodology they have used is open to everybody to verify, to check whether it is correct, to check whether it is scientific, to check whether it is ethical. Finally, number 3 then, if the method used is scientific, the conclusions therefore have a standing as a grounding. Then that, if therefore the Human Rights Watch use the method that they can show to everybody who wants to verify that it can be traced, that it is scientific, that it was ethical, then the conclusions, we can argue about the conclusions, but you cannot doubt the intention of the researcher or the purpose or their ability to conduct this kind of research. So what is going through their mind is largely determined by how satisfied and happy and confident they are about the method they use, whether it's ethical and scientific, and whether the conclusions they arrived at were only driven by the data they collected other than any outside influence.
Right. And before I let you go, because what we've seen, even from some of the social media responses that have come out after Rwanda's Human Rights Commission came out with its own, report or findings out of those allegations that Human Rights Watch made, they still say that they stand by the 40-page document. I want to hear from you from a researcher's perspective. You've talked of verifiable data, verifiable information. To what level does a researcher come back and say, I retract? and say, you know what, the information you went to verify, indeed you found that the things that I'd said, some of them were not gospel truth, so I retract on that level. At what point do we see such a thing happening? Or should we expect a don't care attitude from Human Rights Watch going on?
You know, at the research and scientific level, there are two ways that any piece of research or any piece of finding conducted as a result of scientific research can be distracted or can be explained otherwise. The first is if a similar research is conducted and the findings of this research that have also used the same methodology have found out that the original findings were faulty. That is one. Mm-hmm. Number two is when a similar research is conducted, used to verify, to test whether the findings of the original research conducted was actually conducted using ethical needs, scientific grounded methods, mm-hmm. and the conclusions are therefore reliable. These are two reasons that can make any piece of research, any piece of data or conclusions that have been arrived at through research can be either retracted or findings be rewritten or changed otherwise. And if I may, mm-hmm. That is for me as a researcher. Mm-hmm. That is why I also have two issues with Human Rights Watch findings, especially if I compare with the method, their own declared method of work, mm-hmm. their own declared ethical values in relation to what the National Human Rights Commission has found out. Mm-hmm. And because the methodological question that I find puzzling, that I think Human Rights Watch needs to clarify, is how do you find out and verify that actually a death has taken place? How do you verify that somebody has died? Is it by interviewing people and you go home? Mm-hmm. That becomes a bigger question, especially that now the National Human Rights Commission is saying that the people 7 people that were declared killed through execution actually still live today, and these people are shown, I think I saw in an interview. Another thing that also relates to the methodology is in the report where they say, where Human Rights Watch says that it found out that there is a strategy to kill terrorists, and that this strategy is carried out by the security forces, including the police and the military. But they don't show how they found out that this strategy.
These people died. Right. Right.
No, this policy was set up.
Yes, I get you. Right. Stay with us, Dr. Kayuma. Of course, we are hearing some people are actually saying that the voice is a bit inaudible, but we'll try sort that out. But stay with us. Of course, this conversation is still going on. I want to hear from the two of you, Irere and Gatete. You mentioned specifically the methodology is one of the contentious issues around this issue. But when you have such institutions, that claim to support human rights and are against human rights violations, and when they say they want to carry out research, they hide behind the issue of independence, that we are independent, and so don't tell us what kind of methodology you want us to use, because if you tell us, then you seem to be directing us on what you want us to do. So how then would you like such kind of research be done in a way that is acceptable, that you can say, you know what, regardless of the independence, yes, we have actually accepted that you need to be independent in carrying out your reports, but these are the things we want you to deal with if you really want to come out as people who are supporting human rights.
Okay, thank you very much. For human rights investigation, the violation of human rights, it must obey on the principles, the standards, rigorous standards and the principles as regards the investigation on human rights violations.
Let's spend a few minutes and talk about the standards. What are the standards?
It must be evidence-based. It must be well-researched and documented. It must be cross-checked. You have to verify every information you get and cross-check it. Also, we have to get on the place verifying everything the people are saying. And another very important element on this is also to get, first of all, to get there where the problem is mentioned, but also to talk with many people as much as possible, as to cross-check the information you get.
So you're able to verify. And counter-check.
And counter-check. And to be credible, we have to publish, before you publish the report, we have to ensure that what we're publishing is quite true. We have accurate information. We have to be careful with human rights investigation, because we can't report that someone is executed while is alive. It's a problem. It's a problem.
It's a big problem.
Yeah.
As a human rights lawyer, Gatete, it is seen automatically that the rights of these people who were brought, to the press or to the public that, look, we had been reported dead, yet we are alive. Another woman saying, my husband was reported killed, but he's okay. Or they say that he was murdered, but he died out of natural, causes. What then do these people do? Are they able to file a case against Human Rights Watch for violating their right to life because it seems to have been taken away? What are they able to do? Take us through that from a lawyer's perspective.
So it's not their right to life that was violated. It's their right to privacy, it's their right to dignity, and these are rights that are protected by Rwandan laws and by international law. Now, I don't know what they will do, but let's take this as a case, just if, right? If they want, they can sue for compensation, personally. But on the other hand, there are institutions that have been accused wrongly of these things. So these institutions also, again, I'm not advising them what to do, I don't know what they will do, but they also have ground, in my opinion, to sue for defamation, for all sorts of things.
Right, and when you talk of this, because these complaints or this, counter-accusations on Human Rights Watch's reports is not new, as you saw even from the tweets from various government officials or other players. So why haven't we seen these, cases coming up? Is this time to have them taken up?
So number one, it's not counter-accusation. Obviously, it was not an accusation. It was a report substantiating the flaws in the human rights report. So it was not to accuse anybody, just to say, listen, we're establishing the truth. But now, in the public eye, you see institutions like Human Rights Watch, just like the National Human Rights Commission, the only thing that they have is legitimacy. That's the only product that they sell. Now, if you lose that, normally it puts you out of business. You can close doors, because then if you have been found to lie, in this case they've been found to have lied, what else will they say that will be, this puts into question what they've said in the past, this puts into question what they will say in the future.
So how do we stop that future? How do we stop this cycle? Are we going to continue with this
the cycle is, first of all, to be honest, Eugene, unsubstantiated claims by Human Rights Watch are not new in Rwanda. We knew this. Every time I saw a tweet by the former ambassador of Germany to Rwanda, who was saying, Human Rights Watch came to me, and I know that they sympathize with FDLR. They think FDLR is a freedom-fighting movement and so on. Those are things that you can't say about a terrorist movement that is listed by the UN as a terrorist institution.
Right, and from a legal perspective then, isn't this ground enough? Based on the things that have come out as the truth against what they have said, isn't this ground enough for someone to go to court and pursue legal redress?
Absolutely.
And why then do you think it's taking long? No one is actually doing this.
Maybe, you see, there's what they call opportunity of prosecution. Mm-hmm. Sometimes some of these reports have maybe just been disregarded because they saw they were lies, they said this is not true, and they disregarded it. But at some point they reach, I don't know when government decides, I don't know when, or to say, listen, enough is enough, let's sue them. But of course, you have also to consider the fact that when you sue these people for what they did, who have you seen apologizing? Have you seen anyone apologizing? These reports by Human Rights Watch have been published by most major international media outlets. None of them has actually today published a report saying we stand corrected. Leave alone Human Rights Watch in itself, it has not, like you said, they said we stand by our report. They will not they have not apologized. Normally, if they apologized, scientifically that would be scientific honesty and they would actually gain respect. Mm-hmm. But if they don't apologize, then they are not different from any other political activist who is actually just saying things with a hidden motives. So it's up to the government to decide when it's right for them to press charges.
Now you have come out with the actual truth in your own words and presented the people themselves who were mentioned to have been killed and came out with very concrete information concerning why you believe the report by Human Rights Watch is a lie. So does it end there? What is the next step for you as a Human Rights Commission here? Does it end there? What are the next steps? What else do you do? What else are you planning to do? Are you going to seek legal advice, or redress for some of the people whose rights were violated, as Gatete said? Or does it just end there, that we'll come, counter it, then go back and do our own things?
Okay, thank you very much. I think to sue Human Rights Watch in the court, the victim of those lies can sue them. Mm-hmm. What can help on legal assistance, as we do for other people, mm-hmm. and it is a part of our mandate to seek redress for victims, and but the Commission itself, we don't intend to sue Human Rights Watch, but people who are victims of those lies can sue them, Human Rights Watch, for the court. And we are there to support with advice and legal assistance also. Because most of the people mentioned in the report, the Human Rights Watch said that they were killed because of their theft, or they are stealing cows, they are stealing goats, and it is a totally
it's a lie.
It's a lie.
It's a lie.
That's a problem.
Okay.
And also, the report does not certain institutions which are responsible for those violations. They said in the report those people were executed by police officer or DASO or
so they are
army
not
officers.
specific.
They are not specific. That's a problem in the human rights findings.
Okay.
They must be specific, and to point out exactly which institution is concerned.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. Dr. Kayumba, stay with us. I'm just going to take a very quick break right now, and we see if we can sort whatever technical difficulty that I'm seeing some of you mentioning right here, and then we'll be coming back. But keep tweeting us, hashtag always in focus RWC. Caroline Kere says the interviewee is inaudible, improve on the sound. Let's see if we can fix that as soon as we can, and then when we come back, we'll be reading some of your tweets and keeping this conversation going on. My name, as always, is Eugene and Nangwe. Stay with us. Welcome back. Thank you so much for still being with us. It is In Focus, and I'm just sampling some of your comments concerning our conversation tonight. We're talking about the reaction by Rwanda's Human Rights Commission on the Human Rights Watch report. And we have Valence right here who says, good evening. It is clear that Human Rights Watch fabricates falsehood only to sport good image of our country. Shame on Human Rights Watch. This is what he says. Another one right here from Abdulaziz says, do we have human rights issues than those relevant examples I have given? So it means they follow other interests. I think there's a thread that he's been talking about right there. I'm definitely going to follow that right here. But keep those tweets coming. Use the hashtag InFocusRW. I'll definitely be able to track them through that particular hashtag. And of course, we'll be able to sample more of them. We still have Dr. Kayumba on the phone. We have Irere, and of course, none other than Gatete is also here with us. But before we went for the break, definitely, we were still looking at the issue of the methodology, which is a problem. But I also want us to move the conversation forward and try to look at the avenues that probably we are creating as a nation that allows anybody to come and say and do whatever they want to do about the country. You say as a commission you don't have any plans of filing legal charges against Human Rights Watch, but you say you're ready to support those victims in this. And I want to hear from you, Dr. Kayumba, if you're there with us. Do you think this has allowed anybody, because they feel like nothing will happen to us, we'll keep fabricating information, telling lies, and nothing will happen to us? Do you think this is part of the reason why this cycle is still going on?
It is not easy to know exactly why, but I think, the most important thing that Human Rights Watch has is credibility. In credibility, Human Rights Watch rooted then it will include different influence hard. So I think there is some that can be done to compare Human Rights Watch to proactive response that how it does work. And those things, one, I have had people talking about who is like for me. I think that the National Human Rights Commission and the government of Rwanda distribute International Human Rights Commission findings to other offices and institutions where human rights was provided its findings. For example, in UN, state department of state and other governments and embassies. Second, Katete was talking about media now the writing about the new findings. I think National Human Rights Commission and other executive parties in Rwanda can request a right to cry in any media, in any newspaper or television or radio station which air or publish the findings of human rights reports. This is a legal right, and there are ethical requirements for newspapers such that the new findings can reach the audience that the human rights watch report. Even with these media outlets like Washington Post, the New York Times, they can provide this for approve. Finally, I think even in the way we have been dealing, the country has been dealing with human rights courts and other international human rights bodies should be improved. For example, when you read this report, Human Rights Watch says that it requested senior officials, ministers to comment on this report before the report was published. So the government and government officials got to know the findings of the report before it was published. And when you listen to government officials, they say Human Rights Watch has been undermining Rwanda for many years. So I am wondering why if government and government officials normally get this report before they publicize the world over, why don't they inform the world that if the organization is going to do this and these people that is going to be published based on lies, government may not do it itself, but it can use so many other avenues and so many other tools to make sure that to preempt that because before it is air. That is the only way that organizations like Human Rights Watch, Amnesty International, and those organizations, if they are judged to be acting out of ill will and can be forced to reconsider their stand and how they want to want. Otherwise, these things of suing, taking them to court, I have never seen it anywhere. My friend, the lawyer that can help us. I think the best step to compare Human Rights Watch responsible and stand on Rwanda is to make sure that the citizen is exposed through exposing findings that are not based on actual methodological and verifiable data.
Good. Perfect. And we have Madam Mirere here. Talk to us a bit about that aspect of transparency, of going ahead or being ahead of these various institutions or organizations that want to carry out reports about Rwanda. And some quarters have said that the only time we hear about our own Human Rights Commission is when they are reacting to a report by Human Rights Watch, Amnesty International, and others. And they wonder, is that your work, to just come and react? Can't you be constantly, frequently, regularly, be doing your own reports which you make public before someone comes and says something wrong about you? This is what people say, or some people actually argue about that. Don't you think that they could be right?
No, they are not right. Yeah, they're not right because we have our plan. You normally report to the Parliament annually, but also we have some thematic reports on a specific question. We have the report. Those specific reports were submitted to the President, to the Parliament, the Supreme Court, and the Prime Minister. That's the law. But for the annual report, we submitted to the Parliament. We've copied to the President and the other institutions. And, but our approach is this. For national human rights institutions, the most important is not to publish or to make a report or to publicize a report, is to get to the truth and then to the right to remedy for the victim, and also to held responsible or accountable to the violations. The person accountable to the violations, and also to ensure that victims are rehabilitated in their rights. That's the approach of national human rights institutions. The approach is it's different to the one used by those NGOs or international organizations, because for them is to make it public, to publicize, to make, yeah. But for us, the most important, as I said, is to ensure that the problem is solved, and also the victim rehabilitated
and given back their rights.
Yes.
Gatete, do you think this approach or this way of doing things needs to be revised, so that probably a lot is said about the situation in Rwanda as far as what they internally find out from their own internal reports before someone else comes up with any report?
Right, but what she says, what Madam, the President of the Commission says is about the mandate. What do they want? They want to improve human rights of Rwandans. They want to guarantee human rights of Rwandans. They want to promote human rights of Rwandans. That doesn't happen on Twitter or on Facebook or on WhatsApp or in the media. It happens by training, by, like she says, seeking redress if they see a violation and they tweet it. That's what I do as an individual. Yes. When I see something is wrong, I tweet it, yes, because I don't have the capacity to remedy. But the Commission is not there to fight for space on social media and in the newspapers on who's more vocal, who's more visible. It's not about visibility. And that's one of the challenges of these international organizations that are looking for donors, that are looking for visibility, to self-project. This is not a show. We're talking about people's lives. We're talking about people who may have died, people who may have been shot, and so on. When you find out that, you go and find out the person, you found out the wife, and so on, and maybe you help a lawyer to go to court and seek remedy, and so on. This is being very public because it's a case of outrageous lies. That's why it's taking, it's going trending on social media and in the media. But the truth is, the mission of the National Human Rights Commission is to promote human rights, not to fight. Now, the thing, these reports are regular and accessible on the website of the Commission. It's just that people don't pick interest in going on that website and reading the annual reports. I receive these annual reports of the National Human Rights Commission and read them. And in those reports, you can actually see what they did throughout the year. They also do annual reports of their activities. We trained this amount of people on human rights. We pursued these cases. We supported this amount of people. That's their mandate. So
of what interest, then, is that effort if it is not known by many people? It's not publicized.
It's of the interest of the people.
To the point that if a wrong report comes and it is over-publicized, then many people end up knowing more, seeing more of that is being publicized than the real one that is actually lying low in those websites.
I'm not taking out the value of communication. Indeed, communication is good, it's important. But what's very important is that the rights of the people are respected. What is believed, what is the perception, and the reality, what's important is the reality, isn't it? Because advertising, presenting yourself, tweeting every minute is fine, it's good. I don't take anything away from the fact that it's important to reach out in the media and so on. But what matters is to address the rights of the people, to promote the human rights. Now, Human Rights Watch and these international organizations need to exist, need to fundraise, need to gain legitimacy and so on. So, which is why you see them frequently, when there are no violations, they even make them up just to appear relevant and so on. But it's not the job of the Commission to go into that kind of fight with them on social media. They do their work, and that's it. And in fact, the reason they investigated this, and that's where my problem is, these institutions that publish lies, now they compel the Human Rights Commission to spend some of their limited resources that they normally use to advance the rights of Rwandan people to go and verify lies by another institution. And that is where they become counterproductive. They become a burden to the promotion of human rights. An institution that claims to be an international organization for the promotion of human rights becomes an actual burden to the promotion of human rights, in the sense that they deplete resources that a national commission has to advance rights of the people, to go and verify every lie that they make.
So what should they have done?
No, they did well. Yes. They did well, but I'm just pointing out
the
counterproductiveness of these institutions.
Right. Madam Irere, you categorically said and urged the international community and anybody else who Human Rights Watch made recommendations to ignore those recommendations, because you feel they are out to they are ill-intended. So, which brings me to the question of what happens, or how much of a damage would following those recommendations by Human Rights Watch, by any of Rwanda's partners, be to Rwanda? And are you worried that there are some countries or some partners of Rwanda or some people who might jump into following or following those recommendations made by Human Rights Watch? Is this a worry for you as a commission?
It's a serious worry, because the Human Rights Watch made its recommendations on various institutions, international institutions, among them donors, among them African Commission Human Rights, African Commission Human and People's Rights, among them special rapporteurs. At international level, it's very costly to a country for its credibility, because when we're talking about execution, extrajudicial killings, it's a big problem, because when we abolish death penalty, the extrajudicial killings are not allowed, and it's a big issue. It's problematic, because it's also Human Rights Watch also submits recommendations to UN, and it's said even for those peacekeepers must be the UN must check if they are not they are not accused of human rights violation, and that's why we recommended in our reports that those recommendations must be disregarded.
They must be disregarded.
Yeah.
So I think this is the time when Rwanda actually needs to look and know who its real friends are, in terms of who is going to actually jump into conclusions and say this is gospel truth, and so we're going to either stop support to this channel or stop support to that channel. And this brings me to the issue, Dr. Kayumba, if you're still there with us, to the issue of the diplomatic community as far as Rwanda's partners and friends are concerned. What should they be doing right now as far as, either standing by Rwanda or saying, you know what, Human Rights Watch, your report is null and void, it doesn't make sense at all? What should they be doing right now?
I think what they should be doing is twofold. One is normally what they normally do on their own position, because I think and they have research units or departments that normally follow up these things. And they also analyze these things. So they analyze, find out exactly where does the truth lie. But whether the public stands with the Human Rights Watch or the National Human Rights Commission, we rely then on what these two organizations do. That's why I strongly believe that the Rwanda National Human Rights Commission should make sure that their own findings should be distributed to every office, to every institution where Human Rights Watch sends its own reports. And they should ensure that their findings are also published in every newspaper where Human Rights Watch publishes its own, just as where it was aired. Because this is how we get influence donors and diplomats when they know, they see that you are actually serious with your own findings, that you are actually pushing it forward, and that it is visible, and that it is in the realm of it is in the public sphere. Just publishing the report and calling the two journalists will not influence diplomats or donors to publicly either stand with the Rwanda National Human Rights Commission or Human Rights Watch. But I also caution that for diplomats, normally diplomats do not publicly go to declare to stand with this or that organization. What they normally do is that they tailor their action, they tailor their policy according to how what they think the truth is. And in this case, if they believe that the National Human Rights Commission has exposed the Human Rights Watch, I believe they will stand with it. But let me add two other points, which also goes to how the National Human Rights Commission goes about issues of human rights in Rwanda. Of course, Chairperson Mirele correctly stated how they operate legally through the law that establishes this institution, and of course, Katete also commented on that. But I think in order to interrogate how our National Human Rights Commission works and how it can improve, we should ask who violates human rights and what can be the defense to make sure that whoever violates human rights does not, and what are the defense that can compare whoever violates human rights goes to.
Good.
This is the central question. And for me, from what I have been watching the National Human Rights, our National Human Rights Commission, since it was created, I even know commissioners who have worked there, the founding commissioners, and how it has been working. I find that most the National Human Rights Commission works as the Department of Government. So it writes the report and it sends to the government. But it is supposed to be an independent institution that investigates human rights in Rwanda with the objective of identifying whoever is violating human rights and with another objective of making sure that it defends.
Perfect. Points taken. Points taken.
Rather than writing a report and sending government and government institutions, it should also make sure that it is more proactive.
Right. Points taken. Because of time. Dr. Kayumba, we've got your point. Definitely, they need to take their report to every doorstep of every donor that they believe, or any partner that, so to speak, that they believe Human Rights Watch made a recommendation to. And of course, they need to also be proactive in doing their job. I think these are the key points that you've mentioned, Dr. Kayumba. Thank you very much. Dr. Nyerere and Gatete, because of time, I'm told we need to start winding up. I want to hear from you again. What should those who have been talking about Rwanda, or those who are influential as far as Rwanda relations are concerned, should be doing? Because we spoke to a few diplomats. I've also seen on the Twitter threads some of them saying these are things we don't speak publicly on Twitter or social media or on the media. What do we expect them to be doing? Should we be expecting them coming up with statements live in the public to tell the public that we disregard this information, we are ashamed of human rights? Are these things that we need to be seeing them saying? And are we going to see them say that anyway? Very briefly.
Can I briefly go back to one
Very
point
briefly,
of
yes.
Kayumba?
Yes.
About how the commission, how the commission is supposed to go to this institution. And first of all, it is normally, even though the commission has reached out, like published this, it's normally those who lied, those who supported allegations that were incorrect. Normally they're supposed to be the ones saying we stand corrected.
The burden of proof lies.
I mean, if I make a lie and then it turns out that I lied, it should be normally up to me to be the first one to come out and say, by the way, we believe that Human Rights Report, we believe everything Human Rights Report Watch said. Now it turns out they were lying, therefore we apologize, or we stand corrected, and so on.
Right.
It doesn't stop the commission from reaching out to every. And one aspect that I think has not come out is the fact that the Human Rights Commission is also committed to Rwandan people.
Right.
They need not necessarily be for
going
donors.
Donors
and so on. The fact is to inform Rwandans. By the way, the report that someone else said that your
Human Rights
people
Watch to be the one to come and apologize.
They were supposed to apologize.
And they did.
Yeah.
All right. In closing.
Thank you very much.
Next? Yes.
Yeah.
Very
Our report will be published, largely published, because we are working with African Commission on Human People's Rights, with UN, and it is all in our website. Executive summary is in our website, the Commission's website, and the press release also. Tomorrow we'll be uploading English version and Kinyarwanda, and also to send the report to various institutions.
Right.
Regarding the independence of the Commission, as Kayumba said, I think the Commission is independent. In the procedure, the ways we are working, we don't have any injunction from any authority. We report to the Parliament. We are a constitutional commission.
So you're independent.
Yeah, we have our plans and budget related. No authorization requested to visit prisons or police stations. We just plan and go.
You go.
Yeah.
Super. That's the time we had for this particular conversation tonight. But of course, it doesn't end here. Just stay there. It doesn't end here. It continues on social media. You said that it's not their work to actually go out on social media and publicize what they do and stuff like that. But for us, the conversations go on social media.
Sure.
The hashtag, as always, is InFocusRW. Thank you so much for those who have been tweeting. And of course, Caroline Kere, thank you. To stay relevant and attract donor funding, Human Rights Watch tells lies. Human Rights Commission spends time and limited resources countering those lies. This is very unfortunate. Gakuba JD, my good friends, Human Rights Watch recommendations to the UN must be disregarded. Reason being simple, they are biased and not thoroughly verified. I must say right here that we did invite Human Rights Watch to come and definitely give us their views on this via Skype, something that did not go down well. We did not get positive feedback, and so we were able to just continue the conversation as we've done right here. Keep talking. Hashtag InFocusRW. We'll see you again next week, same time, same place. As always, my name is Eugene Anangwe. Goodbye for now. Thank you.